Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sadashiva Shamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Sakanavavadu Sakanapunaktu Sakabhiryam Karvavagai Tejasvina Vadidamustuma Vatvishavage. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Patena Vacham Malam Sarirasya Vaitekena Yopam Karotam Pravaram Munina Patanjali Pranjali Manatosmi. Good morning to you. Sorry we missed one class. Hope it doesn't really cause us any interruption to your thinking and learning. So, a happy life is what we all aspire for. So, a happy life is one in which we have happiness sustained, is it not? But we know that in life, happiness doesn't get sustained. That's the reason why we seek happy occasions. We have festivities and functions, celebrations to bring back the happiness that we seem to be missing in the Vastu Vishesha. Okay, if you look at these sensual pleasures and objective pleasures, that sukham doesn't stay. Therefore, a happy life has to be properly understood, a life in which happiness is eternal, sustained. But that is not nature of things. Sukham and dukkham are the two sides of the same coin. Therefore, our experience is a pramanam for it. Everything that we love causes trouble. So therefore, what is a curse? Then how do we convert the life to be a happy life? Is that you look for a situation where you have freedom. Abhayam, freedom. Literally, we will understand where there is absolute freedom. It is not even an obligation of love to others. There you have happiness, fulfillment. That is what we call it moksha. But that is not something you get after you disembody, because embodiment is the body is bhoga ayatana. You have to experience it. Life is of experience. Therefore, happiness is therefore the attitude and approach to handle things in life where you are eternally free. That's the reason why the avatar Purushas, like, you can crucify them. Jesus can crucify it. Krishna can be tied up in a tree. Rama can be, deprived of all his rights. Yet they are happy because they are eternally free. So this is what moksha is. So it is not something to seek after retirement or seek after death. It is to seek as a first lesson in life that I will face this world eternally free. So when we have the desire to acquire that freedom, acquire is a bad word because you don't acquire, it's the very nature of it. But let's take it, acquire the freedom. And the desire is so strong, then you are a mumukshu. Don't think mumukshu is someone wearing a long hair and a beard and in penance. Of course they are. Every one of us who seek freedom. If you ask anybody who doesn't want freedom, even a little ant, if you put on a hand, it'll try to escape. Freedom is the very nature. But when you realize that freedom is what I need, then you become a mumukshu. Therefore, we went to Vedanta and Tattva Bodha and say, Mumukshuna, I am a mumukshu, give me the thing. And Vedanta gave us the jnanam, that which liberates us. But it started with a caution that this knowledge is a knowledge which is so wonderful. It is not something that is going to reveal you something you do not have, that you do not own, but your very self. Therefore, your faculties are not ready to receive this knowledge. Therefore, you have the Vivekam, Vairagyam, Shatsambhat, Samadhamadi, Gunas, all this Yogyada qualification you must acquire. And we took a pratigna, yes, we will go and acquire this qualification. Then we learn the glimpse of Vedanta. Then we look back the qualification that we need. It boils down to what? Not a PhD degree in anything, but just to have two things: a clear mind and a steadfast intellect. All basically the same. An absolutely pure mind, an absolutely sharp, focused intellect. We always know our knowledge is limited. Therefore, the absolute intellect is not about acquiring knowledge, but sharpening the intellectual faculty. Sharpen the mind. Absolute mind is making the mind pure. Vedanta did not tell you all this, how to acquire this, because it considers them as your pre-qualification. Before you write the IIT exam, take the coaching. So go somewhere, get coached. So we come to Patanjali. So Patanjali said, Anu yoga anusashanam, I am going to teach you yoga. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Always keep remembering, even if we don't recite this thing for the lack of time, but do recite, do read those sutras. More and more you read, it gets into your mind. So he said, yes, I will teach you. Very simple, single focus. Your mind is kind of a lake. It has got a lot of ripples all the time. Vritti keeps on coming. The vritti is what makes it vacillating. Therefore, I'll give a technique to make it smooth. Then we asked the question, what is chitta vritti nirodham? We've gone through all that. And then it gave us two upayams. Remember what are the two upayams? Abhyasa, Vairagyam. Iti tannirodha. Two things you need. Vairagyam you need. Vairagyam is what? Very focused dispassion with dedication. Dispassion means remove things that are not interesting, not important in the purpose. Focus on what is important with dedication. Unwavering Shraddha you must have. And we saw different shades of Vairagyam. Abhyasam we saw different qualities of Abhyasam. Then we said, yeah, I am ready for it. But when I learn all this, Kshiptam, Egagram, all this mind state and all this working, I'm not used to all this. I'm still wavering and I'm a little bit weak because, we always think ourselves incapable of doing anything. That thought itself is a great, somebody was mentioning in the Olympic interview so beautifully. He said, it is just being part of that itself is a success. You have to really think a can-do attitude. But still we said, okay, I have trouble. So what can I do? Then Patanjali brought in Ishvara. He said, Ishvara pranidhanam. You say, Ishvara, bring Ishvara into your presence. So in his presence, or even that as an object of contemplation, if you take your life, you will achieve. So he has given not an alternative way. Some people take the approach. Therefore, you can ignore all this, just do a devotee. Yes, you can be a pure devotee, not doing any yoga abhyasam, no japam, no dhyanam, no jnana vicharam. You can be there because Ishvara is fine. But it is like a mother, the child doesn't really do studies, go to work. Mother bathes her, gives her feed. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Mother said, no, I'm not going to give you any more feeding. Go eat yourself. Go and learn to. So same way God will say, okay, enough bhakti, enough, go and learn all this. So it will come into our mind. Therefore, we will come into this world with a view to learn yoga. Okay, I will take the Ishvara Pranidhanam as an essential part of my yoga abhyasam. What do I do? Because I have not seen Ishvara. And he said, do meditation on Ishvara. To meditate, you need a name and a form. Name is better than the form because name is more subtle. Because we always try to go to the subtlest of knowledge. Patanjali said, Nama Japam, Tasya Vachaka, Pranavaha. So we saw that. So Om is what? Of course, we can say Krishna, Rama, Saraswati, whatever name you want to have. But always add Om to the prefix or suffix. Or we can just be Om. So we saw that. Then he said that, what do I do with this name now? He said, Tad Japaka Tadartha Bhavanam. You do Japam and Dhyanam. We saw briefly what is Japam is, what is Dhyanam is. Japam is repeating the name, Namajapam, in such a way that all your faculties converge. You can say it, Vachikam, Manasham, all that you can do. You can write it down. But at the end of the day, you had to be Manasa Japam. When you do the Japam, Rama Japam or Omkara Japam or Ishvara Japam, you bring in the Artha Bhavanam. Bhavanam is what? Bhavanam is to mimic, I remember a mentor told me many, many years back in my job, and everybody, when you're ambitious, you want to really get promoted, and they said, yeah, to promote it in life, in your job, of course, you must do your job very well, supremely well. But if you do that supremely well all the time, that you become indispensable to the job, you have a very safe job because nobody else can do the job. Therefore, they will not promote you. You are tied to the job. Many do the mistake. Of course, you must do the job very well. But the job that you want to get, you must imagine that you already got the job. Imagine how the manager will take the decision, how the project manager will execute this plan. You show in your behavior, not in the commanding order or egoity, but in the thinking, in the strategy, in the process, then you don't need to ask for promotion because you are already proving it, who you are capable of. So there you see that a bhavanam in practice, artha bhavanam. You behave as if you achieved it, but we don't do this. That's what here it says, Japam and Dhyanam is about bringing artha bhavanam. Prana Pradishta we do, like I always tell this one. When you do the puja, you do Prana Pradishta. Whatever this God you're worshipping, you put some tamarind Ganesha, you do this Naivedyam and you say Prana Pradishta. That means I'm bringing myself into this Pradimam. So you're actually worshipping yourself. In every puja, no matter what puja you do, you bring the innate nature of yourself, the Atma, and then once the puja is finished, you take it, Achamanam, you take it inside. So they are insisting to you that prepare the bhavanam. That's why you should. So sometimes the bhavanam becomes without understanding it, the bhavanam becomes an avesham. You see, sometimes you see, especially in India, when they're devotees, they get the power of deity come upon them. They behave as if uncontrollable way they do. It is the ecstasy of bhavanam. Nothing wrong with this. So here, therefore, when you do japam, you must have artha bhavanam. No point in sitting and watching television and doing the japam. You should really allocate 10 minutes. I don't want to be preaching, but I just wanted to say how wonderful it will become. It will turn your life into very different. The day will change. 10 minutes of your time, artha bhavanam japam is wonderful. So we saw that. Then we asked the question, so what's the benefit of that? And we saw in the last class, Thada pratyak chetana adhigama api antaraya abhavakacha. So when you have that kind of a japam, what will happen is, because you see, when you are start meditating on the name all the time, the thoughts may come and go, your focus completely turns inward. If you not turn inward, you will not have that kind of peace. It will not come immediately, but if you try, persistently try, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 1 week, 1 month, when you sit down and do it, you suddenly see that you are internally seeing. That is the door is ajar now. You are able to see the Atma Sakshatkaram is going to come. But that is the first one. Attainment of the inward consciousness. It's very difficult to do because we are naturally endowed to look outside. Now we are turning it around. But the beauty is, even though we had 30, 40, 50 years of life we spent looking outside, the 10 minutes of japam, dhyanam, artha bhavanam would do wonders. You are able to go at any time if you want to start looking inwardly. Now, okay, that is one benefit, but that is a benefit to open up the Atma Jnana Vicharam. Once you know that one, your interest, your appetite, your goal in life, your daily affairs in life, always try to find the truth in yourself. It will happen automatically. But in a gross form, he gives another benefit that all the impediments, because here we are not talking about Atma Jnanam, we are talking about having the Chitta Vritti, Nirodham, Yoga Abhyasam. And we brought Ishvara into the picture. So what is the benefit? He says, Antaraya. Antarayam means obstacles, impediments. Abhava. It will be nullified. You will not have these impediments. Is it? If you just pray to God, all the interruptions will go away. You have to have Shraddha. If you don't have Shraddha, you will have an impediment. So now the question comes in. Up to now, we saw this in the last class. What are the impediments? If I do yoga, what is the impediment going to come? We all have so many impediments, but Patanjali gives them Nava Antarayani. A little bit longer slogan, but it's very simple slogan. Sutram, we can find out. Maybe we repeat once and then we can go through the meaning. We will do by syllable. So, Vyadhi, Sthana, Samshaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti Darshana, Alapta Bhumikatva, Anavastit Tatvani, Chitta Viksheba, Te Antaraya. Little bit longer, but I think it's quite easy to understand. So we'll go one by one. Te means those. Antaraya. Antaraya means obstacles, impediments. What are those impediments? First one is Vyadhi. Vyadhi means disease. What is disease? Disease is a beautiful word. You have to be at ease all the time. When you are not able to be at ease, especially in a gross physical body, have illness, Vyadhi, which is not something we invite voluntarily, but maybe inadvertently we do things and it creates Vyadhi. Vyadhi, normally, in Ayurveda, they normally say your life, your arogyam, your health is based on, your gross health is based on your dhatu, rasam, and karanam. Dhatu is all this bone, flesh, everything. they call it the air, bile, and the phlegm. Badam, kapam, pittam, they say call it. Rasam is all those, chemical juices, enzymes, everything that is coming in this body. Karanam is your antakaranams, all your instruments of actions. All this have to be in a kind of balance. The balance is determined by the physical structure, by gene, by all that kind of samskaras. And it has got an inbuilt mechanism to balance it out. But we are not letting them balance themselves. We actually induce it. We go out without wearing jumpers when it is cold, or we eat wrong food, and we do so many things, or maybe out of karma. So vyadi comes in. So the vyadi comes in, what happens? Illness comes in, the body is not able to sit, pain comes in, we can't do yogasana, we can't do dhyanam. So therefore it's an excuse for us. Of course, we can't do it when you have vyadi. But vyadi also has, the pain also has got a benefit, If you touch the fire and it burns, and if the burning sensation is not there, you probably lose your fingers, right? So everything got a purpose, but you cannot treat vyadi all the time. You need to get rid of it. You need to solve it. So the vyadi is therefore an impediment, a disease. Okay, I understand. Everybody agrees, yes. The next one is sthyana. Not dhyana, sthyana. Sthyana means kind of a dulledness, not lethargy. You are physically fit, but you have this kind of a mental anxiety. You have a dullness in yours, lethargy. Inertia sets in. You really don't feel like doing it. You can't explain it why. It happens sometimes to us. There are many reasons for it. The food is one thing and all that. But it has come. When the dhyana set comes in, you have really, it's called akarmanito. You don't feel like doing anything, if you get used to that, it leads to depression. You should not do that. Just dhyana. No, I don't have that one. I have no inertia. I can actually do it. I'm healthy, but I have doubts. The doubt is a very important obstacle to be solved, because the doubt can come in both occasions, on the sadhyam itself. Would I really get that benefit? Would I really get moksha? Would I really get that kind of a tranquility of mind? How can I prove it? So the lack of shraddha creates suspicion. The suspicion lingers, shraddha goes away, motivation goes away. Or you may believe in the goal. You do accept that, yeah, this is going to really lead to me liberation, benefit. But the methods, you have doubts. Do I have to sit with the right leg on top, left leg on top? Do I have to inhale from right nose or left nose? Do I sit straight, or can I bend? Or did he say this way, that way? This book says this way, that book says this way, which one to take? So you have this samshaya comes in, you have this impediments. See, remember, impediments means is all taking your mind away. See, you have a kshiptam, mudam, vikshebam, egagram. You have to be in egagram state. Suspicion will take you away. Then you may not have suspicion. Okay, I believe this, I understand it very well. I read the book, I know how to do it. I start doing it. But pramada comes in. Remember, pramadam is not excellent as we say in Tamil. That is pramodam. Pramada means lack of sincerity, carelessness. The carelessness, it creeps in. Like I need to say mantra japam. Okay, the guru said do 108 times this mantra. So you start doing this om bo. Then you start spacing up faster. cut down the last word because you have no time. Now, if you have to jump a well, a deep well, can you jump halfway? Can't do. Pramada creeps in so many different forms. You seem to be doing things, but doing it carelessly. There's no point in doing 1001 time a mantra, but if you can't do it 10 times properly. So apramada is important. You have to do it very carefully. Do once, fine. Once I do Vishnu Sahasranam. Do each patham clearly. Artha bhavanam I do. What's the point of, I need to finish, in this class, I need to finish Vishnu Sahasranam, Lalita Sahasranam. Is it 40 minutes, 20 minutes? You can plan, 10 minutes we can finish Sahasranam. Well, it is okay, but it is not the best. So you need to find a way. Then you have alasyam. Alasyam is laziness. Okay. It is not lethargy. Lethargy is, you don't even start. Lethargy is different from laziness. Lethargy could be a chemical imbalance in your body, or it's maybe a disease. Laziness has nothing to do with the body. It is your mind. It is just, Laziness also can come from body. When the food that you eat. Food is very important. Bhagavan is going to spend, he talks about supreme knowledge in the second chapter, and he's going to come down and tell you, don't eat chili, don't eat, not that way, but don't eat rajasic food, tamasic food. He's going to tell you what to eat, how to eat. Because the food that we eat, food is not a passive material. We mistake that. Food, even though it's a dead food, whether it's not vegetarian, it's a dead meat, or even a vegetarian, an apple or a tomato or any green that you eat, it's live stuff. Live, active. That's why, when you eat, it is get completely digested by the system so that it does not act internally in its own mind. So when you eat the food, you have to eat with your chewing it. The saliva comes in, enzymes comes in, called a cephalic process. It just converts the food and it comes as a, pulverized it, and then it goes into a second stage in a gastric chamber where acids come in, and they take it away, and then it goes to the intestines. Because the food, when it is there and it is indigested, it turns into poison. Also, when you eat a lot of food, what happens is that to do exactly this, to digest the thing and get the poison out of the body, every system has to work. That's why when you eat more than what you should eat, you feel laziness, you feel sleepy. Because the brain says, cut on all the system, focus all the energy. The energy is used to digest the food. Alasyam. So you have to eat moderate food. The stomach has to have some empty space. All that you know it, of course. But when you take yoga, dhyasana, all this becomes very important. So alasyam is one impediment. Avirati. Rati is desire, kama, ichcha, asha, in sensual pleasures. Virati means without having the desires. Avirati means not having the desire. There is double negative. It means extreme desire in sensual pleasures. That is anything, if you have extreme pleasure, extreme desire on it, what will happen is that will take you away from your yoga abhyasa lakshya. Bhranti Darshana. Bhranti means brahma. Not like a brandy, not a liquor brandy. Maybe the brandy also comes from this. Bhranti is that which covers the truth but projects the wrong thing. Darshana. So you have a wrong view. Well, this yoga abhyas, for example, they say, you look at the candlelight and then keep looking at it all the time with both eyes open and concentration comes in. Some philosophy, somebody tells you that, you do it and you burn your pupil. Your eye power is gone because you can't intensely look at a light. That's wrong to do. Or philosophically wrong thinking. Oh, don't worry about God. There's no God or anything like that. Yoga abhyasam is only to attain some powers. And there is an evidence of getting powers. Sabhranti darshana. That can be an obstacle because what happened? Why it is an obstacle? Because when you are doing halfway, you feel a kind of bliss, or you're feeling that somebody is coming to your house and somebody is actually coming. Then you realize that you're attained. You think that you're attained your nirvana, and you start preaching and Bhranti darshana. Your yoga get disrupted. Well, then here, alapta bhumikatva. Bhumikatva means attaining the ground. Alapta, not attaining the ground, not having a firm ground. Technical term, what he basically, Patanjali says here is, well, you may find a different reason. I don't have vyadis, dhyana, samshaya, pramada, alasyavriti, but I have a problem because my pet, or my wife, or my children, or my office work. Anything that you bring in that makes you not having the ground. Ground here is having the firm footing on your goal. So I think here this is the technique of shastras, where they use a particular phrase to bring in all those that is not material to discuss in detail, but it is all there. So anything you think of, you put in here. Anything that you think it is a problem, put in there. Because what we are trying to do here is identifying the impediments, and by just praying on the Ishvara, all this will go away. That's the eighth one. Anavastitatvani. Sthiti means to stay. Anavastiti means that avastha, that staying in that condition. For example, I have no such impediments. I have no such obstacles. I have no alapta bhumika. I can sit down, I can meditate. I am getting there. I am focusing. I'm just going to lose myself into that bliss. I lost it. Something else comes and then takes it away. I go back to the vikshepa. I'm not able to endure it, instability. So some of us go through that one. So therefore, this 9 impediments, vyadi, dhyana, samsaya, pramada, alasya, avirati, bhranti darshana, alapta bhumitika, all these buzzwords, simply day-to-day affairs that we see, obstacles, all this what they do, chitta vikshepaka. Remember, kshiptam is completely tamasic mind. Mudam is also like that, which is not good for it. Vikshepam is rajasic and tamasic mixed. Not really the best one for the samadhi yoga. We need to go to ekagram. So therefore, all these things happens, your mind is wavering. Therefore, they becomes the antaraya. So the illness, lethargy, doubt, negligence, sloth, confusion of philosophies, all these things I just now explained to you, they distract the mind field. These are the impediments. So I think all of us can agree, something or the other will be always coming to us. We don't need to worry about it too much, because the assurance here is when you do the Ishvara Pranidhanam, it will not become an impediment to you. Understand? It's very important to understand. It's not saying it's going to cure your disease. That's a different stage. It will not become an impediment to this. That means even I have this pain in my leg, I have the capacity to endure it. See, grace is not having a magical gift. That's one of the problems we have. We always look for magic. When when a guru is there and he says some good upadesam, he say, don't take it. But after he's dead, we invent a miracle around him because we want to really awe-inspiring. No, grace is about acceptance. Ishvara prasada. This is, if you understand this, you understand Karma Yoga. When you ask for grace, give me God, give me grace. He's not going to shower something on your thing. He may do it. It is, he will make you accept whatever is coming. Because why? You're able to accept whatever is coming because, not because you are bearing it, not because you are biting your teeth and enduring it out of compulsion. No. That is titiksha. Here it means, it doesn't affect you. Why? Because you are free. You see? So when you seek evidence for all this, because of course you should seek evidence for it, you should challenge even scriptures. Okay, I'm going to do the Shraddha, I'm going to sit down and japa. Let me see my vyadi goes or not. You must do it. But what will happen is, the vyadi where you are thinking that I am sick would change into my body is at disease, not at ease. You started turning the equation that you don't want to be the disease. Half the healing is done. That is what the import of this. Okay. There are additional symptoms. Now he is giving you a little bit more. It's more towards your consequence of these symptoms, impediments. So let's just read it once. Dukkha, daurmanasya, angame jayatva, vasha, prashvasa, viksheba, sahabhuvaha. Vikshebam, what we saw before, right? Vikshebam is what? The mind is confused, vacillating. Viksheba saha. When saha means together, accompanied. So viksheba, mind is accompanied. Bhuva. Bhuva means happens, existence. So when you have obstacles, like we discussed the 9 obstacles, your mind becomes vikshepam, and along with this, what is coming? Dukkha. The pain comes in. Okay, it's a common sense, right? You have a sickness, pain comes in. Saha, anubhava. The word itself, ka means space, ambience. Dukh, the prefix dukh means miserable, bad. So dukkha means miserable space. Around you, it's uncomfortable. It's not just a physical pain, it is kind of a difficult situation. You don't like it, that kind of situation. Dukkha. Sometimes we know it's very important, we must understand, dukkham is like vyadi, you should not keep it. Because dukkham is not your nature. Satchit anandam. Sukham is our nature. Anything that is not our nature should be an unwanted guest. Unwanted guest comes in, what we do? Atidhi devanam. So you need to give them something to eat. But then say, see you off, goodbye. Dukkha used to get rid of it. But you know what happens sometimes? This dukkham becomes habitual companion to us, You start enjoying the dukkha. You have to really think about yourself, your own experience. No, you have seen somebody all the time in dukkha. You have to find the fault somewhere to feel sad. You see, mind is only conditioned to what you practice. So if you practice dukkha and bhavam to be your subhavam, you will look for dukkham. I bet you will understand this, which is dangerous. So you need to get rid of it. Whenever dukkha comes in, sort it out and get rid of it. Never invite dukkha in any form. Therefore, if you take that vision, what will happen? Klishtaha. You know what that word? Klishtaha is dukkha. I go to the satsang class is finished. I was in a pious mood. When he come out, Naresh is driving a Tesla. Jealous. How can he do that? He didn't do any harm. I invited dukkha. Klishtaha. Dhaurmanasya. Dhaurmanasya means unbearable, ill-mindedness, anguish, weak-mindedness. Saumanasya means good mind. Dhaurmanasya means, like for example, the same dukkha leads to dhaurmanasya. The car he has got, I'm not getting the car, I am jealous because my ego is hurt. I don't even enjoy my car anymore. My mind is what? Anguished, weak. So dukkha leads to dhaurmanasya. And I can't do a japa. I mean, I sit on japa, I close the eyes, Tesla just run past my eyes. Anga mejayatva. Anga means your part bodies, limbs. Trembling. You can't sit down in a yoga. This is specific to yoga abhyasam, yogasanam. You know, your body starts shaking. You know, sometimes we do that. You know, we don't sit quietly. We keep shaking like this. It is not the right thing to do. Not right thing to do when you are really going to take yoga abhyas. You can't sit because what is the important point of the body? Brain is not alone the thinking faculty. Every cell is a thinking faculty. Memory is all over this body. This is very important. You know, a lot of research going on the neural networks. Your nail, your tip of your finger, everything got a memory and a processing capacity, and they learn all the time. Machine learning, they say in modern technology, it's learning things. So if you let it learn, so if I know, that's why in a young age, you know, my mother used to tell me, don't shake your leg all the time. If you keep on shaking your leg all the time, the leg will learn that shaking is its svabhavam. You'll be shaking all the time. It may lead to a disease because to shake a leg, brain has to send some different neural programs for it. But of course, then all this when it comes to sit down on a thing, your body is shaking. That's why when I learned, a little bit, and first thing that one used to sit for 10 minutes without shaking your body. So anga mejayatva. Swasha praswasha. Patanjali says even your breathing is an impediment. Of course, some people take this and say, therefore, to get samadhi, you should not breathe. And they take example of Sadashiva Brahmendra and all those Jiva Samadhi. We will run away, right? If you don't need to do breathing, and I don't want this. If you don't have breathe, I'll die. The actual lakshyartham is, swasha means what? The air that goes inside. Inhalation is swasha. Exhalation is prashvasam. But it is not in our control. See, why are we breathing? You know? Did you ask the question to yourself? Why are we breathing? What does the breathing do? If you do a GCSE science, you would learn this. But when a child is born, the first question they ask is it breathing? Or when a sick person is there, is he breathing? So breathing is the foremost trigger or symbol of living. See, whenever you eat food, the energy is life, right? E equal mc square. Energy is life. The energy has to come from elements. Elements that is packed energy is sugar. Sugar contains energy. But sugar is where the sugar is in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is as an example, comes from the plants. So plants take, see the beauty of this. If you appreciate it, you see the nature. Plants take the carbohydrates, carbon dioxides, create carbohydrates in forms of produce and let oxygen. It gives us two things. We eat the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates goes in there. We chew. It goes to the mouth and gastrical plants and broke down into sugar. Sugar goes into the blood and blood streams take to the cells. The cells will unpack the sugar molecule to take out the energy. To take out the energy, it needs energy. The energy is oxygen. So from the trees, the life form, we take the oxygen, we breathe through the lungs, and then goes to the cells, to the blood, and the energy, oxygen is used. We do all the stuff happens in the body. The carbon dioxide gets out. Tree says, thank you very much, and it consumes it. See? So therefore, this is how precious swasha is. But it is not controlled by us. Have you seen when you are frightened, your breathing changes? Or when you are anxiety, you want to give a talk on a stage, not debate you're going to go, or you're going to start the 100-meter race, Olympic race, you get fear. The swasha and praswasha doesn't come in any way. Have you seen the rishis keeping a stick, with a kind of a bow? Not to hit anybody. They keep it under the armpits because there are certain points in your body when you press hard, you are able to change the pace of your breathing. Your thumbs, your ankle. You see Mahaperivas in Kanchi used to sit in a pose where he will be just pressing his blood veins on that knee and on the ankles. There are in Yoga Sutras, you have this is all modulate. The purpose is to regulate breathing. It's called, we learn it later. Rechakam is to give the air out. Kumpakam is to keep it inside. Like that, you have this kind of a controlled breathing exercise you should do. So here he says, 9 out of 10 times we have no control of our breathing, and it is an impediment to yoga. How is it an impediment to yoga? Breathing is tied up to your thoughts. If the breathing is not regular, thoughts won't be regular. How can I prove breathing is controlled to thoughts? Very simple. Sit down after the class, sit down for 5 minutes. Just simply watch your breathing. Just watch. Don't control, don't exhale in here, don't put any conditions on it. Let it go, let it come, let it go, let it come. 5 minutes you watch. What will happen is, it will slow down. After slowing down, after this is finished, you get up and you think what you thought in this 5 minutes. Very little. Because the rhythm of the breathing and the flow of the chitta vritti are tightly correlated. When you go deeper into the study of Yoga Shastra, you'll understand how these two are intertwined. So here he says, swasha praswasha is also an impediment. So this 4, dukkam, dhaurmansyam, ankamejatu, swasha praswasha. So therefore all these 4 plus the 9 are impediments of distractions. But each one we should take a measure. So that now he said, so yes, pain, frustration, unsteadiness of limbs, trembling, uncontrolled inclination. Therefore, all this we should address. Never sit down in a dhyanam with a dukkha. Never have anguished mind. Never have unsteady body. Of course, as age comes in, your body starts shivering. Now you already missed the time. does not matter. You can do certain things which is within your power. You can do that. Swasa prasvaja. That's the reason why you do the japa. And you do, see, when you do the Nama Japam, Krishna, 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 then after some time, they will say Krishna. You have to for inhalation, exhalation, Om, inhalation, Krishna. So you synchronize your breathing and your japam. That way you control it. Okay. So how are these impediments removed? He says next one. Tat pradishedartham ekatattva vyasa. Okay, maybe I'll close this one with this. Tat. What that means, he's now telling after the impediments. He explained this just now, the 9 plus 4. Those obstacles, pratisheta. Pratisheta means to abort, to stop, to negate, to prevent, to nullify. So to remove those impediments and obstacles, symptoms, what do I have to do? For the purpose, for that artham. So tat pradishedartham, for removing those impediments, ekatattva, one principle. On one principle, you do abhyasa, you practice. Your abhyasa means abhyasa vairagyam. You should include that abhyasam. So on one, so what he's saying is, you do the Ishvara Pranidhanam. By the kripa of Ishvara, your impediments will go down and you will surpass them. Because by doing this, to do this, what you do, may your object of contemplation be ekatattvam, one principle. So this, again, many scholars have given a very different interpretation to suit their school of thought. So we take it in a very simple way first. Okay, I'm not a spiritual, I just wanted to make my life goals achieved. And I want to focus on my studies and focus on my business goals, focus on my sports goal, athletics goals. So I do the japam dhyanam to cite my mind. Therefore, my ekatattvam is what I want to achieve. Absolutely no harm in it. So whatever you want to achieve, artha bhavanam, so you think that you achieved it, you contemplate on it. We're going to learn some simple techniques for this in the next few slokas, sutras. But here it is a simple approach. Whatever you want to contemplate, take that one and work with abhyasa vairagya. But we are coming for Vedantic knowledge. So the one principle, ekatattvam, is what? That which is Advaita, that which is non-dual, that which is eternal. Ishvara, Om, Atma. So no matter what my life goals are, laukika goals are, I don't need to really practice, do the japa. I don't need to do a dhyanam and japam on my office promotion, even though I can do it. But I do on the Ishvara. How does it correlate each other? It's very simple, because if you are practicing for a marathon in Olympics or decathlon in Olympic, going and playing, running 100 meters in local school is no easy, trivial. Because you are preparing your mind to be one with the one principle, ekatattva. So you get your agility of mind, purity of the mind, and intellectual steadfastness. Everything else is just a piece of cake. So therefore, you really don't need to worry. You don't need to really go to the yogi schools and self-development schools to learn to practice on the laukika goals. Of course, please do it. It's a good practice. But if you can replace it with 10-15 minutes of japam, dhyanam on the Ishvara Pranidhanam, Ishvara Namam, every day, with Artha Bhavanam, your impediments will be gone, your symptoms will be gone, you would start getting inner consciousness. Mind you, my blood pressure is not gone, but the blood pressure is no impediment to me to do yoga abhyasa. And the blood pressure will go. Don't stop taking medication of it. Do that. But what happened is that because you are not suffering from blood pressure, your body is suffering from blood pressure. So you separate yourself from this. Therefore, you are able to address it properly. See, the power is, what the God's grace is, of course, He is sometimes like a mother. He feeds you. But very often He is like Father. He makes you do things that you need to do. And that is freedom. Even a child, what he does, mommy is feeding. After some time, it wants to take and put in the mouth because that's what he enjoys. So we all enjoy to be autonomous, free. Even the binding of love we don't want. Therefore, by doing this, what God is making you is to stand up on your feet, do what you need to do, irrespective of what obstacle comes in. To do this, you take that Ekatattvam, the Ishvara principle, Abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice with Vairagya, with dispassionate. So I will stop it here and we take the Shantipara. Om Ashato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste.